Hello, Mr. Cove here, and today we're going to talk about episode 3 of Welcome to Derry. Before I do that, though, I do want to thank everyone that has subscribed to the channel. Just a small channel trying to grow here, so I appreciate it. And then anyone else who hasn't subscribed, that would be greatly appreciated if you could as well. Let's go ahead and get to the video. So, uh, this episode, didn't think it was as great as last episode. Last episode was pretty good though, so that is okay. At least the gargoyle baby took the night off, so I was happy for that. Kind of three big things that happened in this episode. So let's kind of get into each of them and the intricacies of those events. First, we have a scene from two cycles ago, so early 1900s, where we see a young boy and girl get attacked by it in a forest. The young girl is a Native American who is later shown to be the shop owner that Charlotte Hanlon visits in the last episode. She saves the young boy with a slingshot, and they end up escaping the forested area that Rose, who is the Native American woman, says the creature doesn't come out of. So the Native American tribe there is aware of it, and at least at this point knows where it stays and how to avoid it. The boy she saves is shown to be General Shaw. That's the only encounter they appear to have, and Shaw leaves Derry with his dad, who is in the military, to get stationed at another military base a few months later. And so that's kind of it for that section. This opens up a ton of questions, and let's go over some of them here. Did Shaw come back because of his knowledge of it? This seems unlikely because, as most people, his memory of Derry fades after he leaves. When he returns, he doesn't remember Rose until later, and that's only because Rose had sent something to the military, kind of worried about what they're digging up. Their main concern, the Native American tribe, is that they're going to disturb their, like ancient burial grounds and stuff like that. So I think it's more likely that someone else sent him there because he was from Derry and not because Shaw wanted to return to deal with it. I don't think he remembered it at all. And that also brings in the motives of Shaw. Is he really there to harness it to combat the commies, or does he just want to kill it because now he remembers it and, like anyone else that's encountered it, wants it dead, right? I lean towards the latter, but my girlfriend vehemently thinks it's the former, that he's just, a military bad guy that is going to try to capture it or whatever so they can win the Cold War. So officially the digs that the military are doing as far as the outside public, they're just saying they're setting up for like infrastructure, place to put water lines and stuff like that. And I'm guessing that the Native Americans also have a much better understanding of it than the military or anyone else here. And I think that's going to be important going forward in the story. So even like 2 cycles ago, they know it can only be in this forest right now and don't have to worry about it otherwise. I think that's far beyond what, anyone else in the show currently knows about it. So it gives Halloran his slingshot so you can try to narrow down where it is or whatever they're trying to dig up, because they know they're running out of time with its cycle, so they're aware of that. And this transitions into the next big event of the episode. So armed with the slingshot, Halloran is flown by Hanlon and Paulie in a helicopter. They're told to just take him wherever he says to go. He's the human compass, and they nod and go in. Halloran ends up seeing its kind of home while he's in a trance. His eyes are closed. He's kind of in a dream state. And they see where they're floating people around like a tower, like we've seen in the last It movie. But it senses Halloran, can see this, and comes out and confronts him. Halloran also sees his grandmother there, but it's not clear if she is a victim of it or what that means. If it's just, it making his grandmother appear there, as he can do with, anything else, doesn't necessarily mean he killed his it killed his grandmother, right? While trying to run away in the vision, he almost falls out of the helicopter, but is saved by Hanlon. Halloran later has dinner with the Hanlons, and Leroy confronts Dick about looking into his mind after he asks about his child who he shouldn't have any knowledge of. Leroy says he sensed someone in his mind with the attack at the base as well and knows he was there. Leroy admits to it and says he'll stay out of his mind, but he also saw he had no fear, which was already alluded to before. He thanks Hanlon for saving his life and asks for his continued help with it. So instead of Halloran having some connection to it, which you might still have considering you saw his grandmother there when seeing it, he's apparently there because he's a psychic and a mind reader. Dick tells Shaw that he's worried that it has now seen them and possibly knows they are after it and thinks that then they should maybe stop. Shaw tells him the rest and obviously has no intention of quitting. Now on to the next big event of the show. The girls decide that the best way to help Ronnie's dad get out of jail is to get proof of its existence. Ronnie ends up realizing that Marge is right, that if Marge just tells the cops their crazy story, that she'll just get sent back to the asylum and it won't help their dad. So they decide the best way to get evidence of it is to get some pictures of it. But they'll also need to develop the pictures themselves because they don't think they'll get them back otherwise. Since Ronnie is aware of Will Hanlon's interest in science and seems like a smart kid, they ask Will and Rich for help. They need to summon it to get some pictures. So Rich says he has an uncle or something that used to summon evil spirits on people that like owed him money as like a loan shark or something. That was kind of weird. And so they go do some sort of ritual that he kind of has some base knowledge of at a cemetery. Seems to be futile, but as they're leaving, they're attacked by it. They get a few pictures and make it out of the cemetery intact. They break into the school and develop the pictures. The last picture that Will has taken appears to be a clown, and that's the closest we've gotten to Pennywise thus far, and that ends the episode. So closing thoughts. The plot is moved substantially this episode, and that's certainly good. 10 episodes in about 10 hours can feel like an enormous amount of time to tell a story, but we've all seen, despite that a lot of stories get rushed at the end after too much fluff is presented earlier in the show. Now that we've had the plethora of kills early, it does feel more tame now, where you're not as worried about the main characters as much. You think they're going to survive. This may be a false sense of security, though, since we already know the military does not win this, and neither do the kids. So despite that feeling, I don't think any of these characters are actually safe, and that's a good thing. But this episode certainly gave that feel to it. And that doesn't mean that the future ones aren't going to add some danger, so we'll see how that goes. We have a solid kid group of 4 now, and the acting there is certainly sufficient to carry that storyline. The added element of the Native Americans is interesting and should improve the military storyline as well. Still a lot of questions that have been asked that need answers. So that will continue to be interesting besides just, wondering how this is all going to play out at the end. So a few guesses as to what's going to happen here, most of which will most certainly be wrong, but I'll go ahead and give it a shot. I think Marge and Dick will end up being the next victims of it. We'll be a few episodes away, but I think Will tell his dad about it, what they're trying to do, and that's when all these worlds will collide, and Shaw will then use the kids as Halloran's replacement since his psychic will be dead, and that'll probably be without Leroy's knowledge, since he certainly wouldn't want Will to be bait for it. And of course, this all fails. The question is just who ends up surviving it, right, and how it all plays out. So that's my guesses for the near future of the episode. I'd love to hear what you guys think is going to happen, or what you guys thought of this episode. Again, not quite as good as the last one, but that's okay. If they're moving the plot forward, that's important. We don't want, just a bunch of fluff and stuff happening, and then they have to, throw all the plot in the last couple episodes. It just makes for a terrible season. So it doesn't look like they're doing that, so I'm happy about that. Okay, well, that is it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed this one, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Talk to you later.